Talk 49.
I'm going to call this interview Creative Spirit, Pottery, Ceramics, Writing, Nature, Music, and in particular piano. Heide Brauer, herzlich willkommen. A very warm welcome to you. Heide, let's start with pottery.
Okay, yes. I started in Germany, and it was an idea, it just popped into my mind. This is mine. So I went to a potter, and I just worked there. I had three small children at the time. And then we went to Vienna, and then I established an atelier for myself, and I just started working, learning by doing, more or less. And I tried stoneware, porcelain, and then I was very intrigued by glazes, which fascinated me. And
What do you mean, glazes?
this is a cover, a ceramic. For example, this little pot. Everything is the tableware, whatever you have, is covered with a glaze.
Okay.
It makes it, yes. But also, I was not so keen on tableware, and I started with sculptures, small sculptures, and they grew bigger and bigger. And yes, this is how it all started off.
Which form do your sculptures take?
This is very hard to say because they're all different. It depends on the theme. One theme I always loved was women, because this is a theme, a very essential theme, same important as soil, as the earth itself, as minerals, as stones. All that is very, very fascinating for me. And so the form develops. I wanted to make very clear forms, and of course it depends on the height of my kiln, on the width and the height of my kiln, which is something like 85 centimeters. So I have to make it on two pieces, and I just work on coils. I think it's called coil.
Okay.
Yes, or on slabs, which is very demanding because you have bigger slabs. They have to stand. You have to just find out the right way you can work on it. If it's too soft, it will collapse, and if it's too hard, you can't work on it anymore. So this is very demanding. Anyway.
When you're making a woman statue,
yes,
say,
yes.
do these sculptures take on a personality sometimes?
They do.
Tell me about this.
They do. Every woman, I have an image in my mind, and then I start working, and then suddenly they take on a personality of their own. Every sculpture has a personality. Once I broke a part of a sculpture. It was broken by an exhibition. So if it doesn't matter, I'll make a new one. I make a new one, and you never can make the same again. It's just another piece of sculpture. It's just never the same.
So each sculpture is unique. You can't repeat it.
Yes.
What names do you give them?
Yeah, this is the most difficult part for me. I had to think about. First, they were just torso 1, torso 2, torso 3, which is not very imaginatory. And so I started to find a name mostly on antique stories, and I gave them, I gave them the name. Yes, it's one looked a little bit like a Japanese woman, so I called her the Japanese. So it's just what you think about.
What happens to these sculptures at the end, do you sell them, give them away, or?
Some of them are sold, but a lot of them are standing in my atelier. and well, you never give up hope. And it's funny because if they are sold, I even think of a little bit of a little sadness. They're gone now. But I have them in my mind. It's like, no, it would be too cheap if you say it's like children. It's not like children, it's an artwork. And you stick to it very much because you spend a lot of time and a lot of feeling, and it's a lot of input in them. And so you just say goodbye, but it's still there. You don't say goodbye, it's still there. And other people are glad about it. And
you also mentioned earth. Tell us about this direction in your pottery too.
Yeah, this has to be with gratefulness, maybe, of humbleness, because what are we persons? Yes, we depend on nature. Well, in the Bible, they said you are soil and you will be soil again. You know, Brahms says it in his Requiem, which is so beautiful, which I love. He mentions it, and this is this humbleness. What are we? And the soil, to me, it's like a wonder. It's like the cell of what there is. It's all the minerals. You can make glazes of it. You can make sculptures. You use it in the garden. You have vegetables. It's what you live on. And this is... to me, I'm really very humble if I think about that. I know this is humbleness is not an expression today, you know, people think they can do everything. But if they go into themselves and think about themselves, what are they, you know? Yes, this is what soil means to me.
You mentioned Brahms.
Yes.
Music is also an enormous part of your life. Tell us a little bit about this, and piano in particular.
Yes, I've learned piano when I was about 5 years old, and I loved it from the first beginning. Only then I had bad teachers and I stopped it, and the moment I stopped with my lessons, I started playing for myself, and of course always two pieces. They are too difficult for me, but I just tried, and I think this is one of my of the things. If I want something, I just try and to get near the aim, or no, can you say aim, or the realm? Yes. I get near to it. You know, I never will be perfect, and this is not my intention to be perfect. But to get near the idea you have of something, and this, I think, fuels your intention and your passion. And this, yes,
fuels your passion.
Mm-hmm.
How do you? Let's say, how are people important to you?
Oh, very much so. I love people. I also have been teaching, and I never wanted to when I was young. My father was teacher, my mother was teacher, and I just didn't want to teach at all. This was so far. And later on, I was teaching myself, and I just loved it. I really loved it, to see how children grow, to imagine their mind, to see how they keep on learning things, how the world for them opens. This is so fantastic. And later I gave lessons, private lessons in French, in German, and English, and I loved it. Now I have 3 pupils. I teach them on the piano, and I'm not a trained teacher, but I found out that I really can do that, and maybe I'm not too bad in doing it, and it's really great fun, I must say. Yes.
You just mentioned the importance of imagination. reading books is, of course, a great source for
Yes.
imagination. You write books, Heide Brauer. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it started when I started very late, about 2000, something like this. And the first novel I just started writing off, without any knowledge. And it was a horrible story, I must say. But then I kept on, and then I was a lot in Africa. I was working. I was on 2 times. I was on symposia, and one it was Senegal, mainly Senegal. I stayed and we had wonderful colleagues. There were some people from the Vienna Künstlerhaus, which I was a member for many, many years. Then this was a great source also, and I met very interesting people, and I also saw the country, and this is why I started my first backpack, going down there and to just go through the country, and it was fantastic for me. The people were very nice, but it's a great poverty. And Senegal, who is a democracy, but still, I mean, the source for people to live is very poor, and many people are fisher. They live from fishing, and this is a whole ethnia. And what did Japan do? They built them a big football stadium and gave the right for fishing, and took the right for fishing. So they came with the big ships along shore and took and the people in their fisher boat that didn't have anything, This is one of these big catastrophes going on everywhere in the world.
One of the things you've experienced on your way through life, catastrophes, natural catastrophes, what we're doing to the world. And we can talk about that another time. It's a very interesting subject.
Yes, it is.
But back to you, just a little bit. A couple of minutes ago we mentioned people. People are our way through life in many respects.
Yes.
Tell us about some of the interesting people you've met on your way through life.
Well, some of them are artists, but one of my backpacking trips went to Eastern Germany, to Eastern Turkey, because of the Kurds. I was so furious about the idea that there exists a nation, or you can call them nation, but people, they have no country. Their home is it's in Iran, in Iraq, and in Turkey, and they are not really at home. And in Turkey, as we know, they are not really liked. I mean, and this is such a beautiful and wild country. And I met people; they were so friendly and extraordinary, and I loved this tour. I was there in late October. I was there twice because I wanted to solve a question. I wrote a book about the Kurds, and this is why I wanted to make some investigation. And the first time I went also through, I was at the Wannsee, which is beautiful, very wild. And there are a lot of Armenian churches around, and they only restored one church. It's called, on the island, Akdamar, and it has beautiful paintings inside. It was installed, but the other, there's so many Armenian churches, they are just falling into pieces. It's really sad. And then I went up to the north, which there is a city called Kars, and it doesn't look like a Turkish city at all. And I was told it was, in the 19th century, a garrison city for Russian people, because the Russians always had their hands everywhere. With a lot of churches, Armenian churches, but they now are mosques, of course. And at the time, Orhan Pamuk had his Nobel Prize for a book called Snow, and it was about a teacher, a poet who went back to Turkey, and he was so afraid because of the different political and religious layers there, and it fascinated me, and but I didn't really understand it, so I had to go back another time. So the next year I went back again, and suddenly, by seeing everything again leisurely, I understood how things grew and how the fear was growing. So I had enough material to write the book. And
what's the name of your book?
The Brothers of Van, because it's a twin brothers. It's one stays in Van, which is the eastern town, and the other goes to Vienna, and he sort of makes some organization for Kurdish people, etc. So yes, this is the spirit of the book anyway. And it took me quite some time to do my investigation, but I found so many nice people, really, that I'm befriended with two of them. One is a journalist. She now goes back to the States, where she lived for 5 years and went back to her big family, because family is very important for people. You know, they have many children, and because they have no insurance, they have to have somebody who cares for them when they are old. So, yes.
You mentioned churches, paintings in churches. Mm-hmm. How important are icons for you?
Oh, they're very important. It's a culture where people are very rigid. They are, as the word says, icons. They are a symbol of something, and it's in Eastern churches a way for me to give dignity for women, because women are not very estimated in some countries, but still that shows the importance of women, of giving birth, of the love for children. And you have certain colors, you have to use certain colors. It's a long tradition, which I cherish very much. Yes.
Which colors do you use in your pottery?
Well, I try to use as many colors as possible, but blue is one of my of the color which is rather easy to be obtained. But there are so many shades of blue, incredible, and this is why yes. But I love red, orange, brown, whatever, you know. I seldom use yellow, funny enough, yeah. But I think blue is the most used color in my pottery.
We should have called this interview Shades of Blue, but blue is your favourite colour.
It is, yes, it is.
And do you see the future as being blue?
In what sense do you mean blue? In the spirit? Yes, the spirit. Of course, it's a colour of spirit. I do hope so. I'm not quite sure. If I see what's going on politically, but then I have a lot of hope in our young people. They are so great. I have 4 grandchildren, and they, you know, for me, they mean the future, because they go out and they know what's waiting for them. We didn't know, but they know, and they take the challenge. And this is great, and they go the way, and this is, for me, that's really hope, young people.
So, Heide Brauer, the future is the youngsters of today. They're our hope.
Yes.
Heide Brauer, thank you very, very much. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure.
Talk 49.